watching are aware there's endless trends when it comes to movement, trying to hack everything and figure out better ways to do things and whatnot. This movement, like, we'll put a video up, there's different variations of it. I sent you one, right? People will set up this hyperextension machine or something similar to it that can act as the same device. Cables, well, they'll do like, the cable pulley will be very low. So they'll put the cable pulley out here, like where your guys' feet are, and they'll rise up and pull as they arch, and they'll rock back, squeeze up. Some people will take dumbbells here, and they'll squeeze the dumbbells back as they rock up through their chest and roll back, through their hip drive, right? It's fine, like it works, there's nothing wrong with it. One, it's a bitch to set up. Like if you're gonna do it at a cable, I gotta drag this all the way over the cable machine, or hopefully it's near it to begin with, right? But you guys are missing the finer point of this, is that this is forcing your hip to stay behind your shoulders. So I can't, on every other back movement you guys are doing on your pulls, if you're sitting up, you're doing this. And you're leaning back and you're pulling, but your hips are going forward. So the weight's here. The weight's not here, where it should be. Which is what I propose, is that you should have your hip back and be able to be still in your hip and be able to rock from your hip up through your spine, like lift your chest up and come through here. All this is doing is sticking your hip in a stagnant position so I can stick my hip here the same way I would approach. If the pull was right here, I'd be set down here and I'd pull up through it and I'd pull here. These guys are overarching and they're pulling up here because they're feeling more sensation the more they arch. And they're also doing this because the only sensation they've probably ever felt in their back, like feeling their whole entire back, right? So you guys are trying to mimic something that should be a staple understanding, like a foundational position of any back press, or every back pull, sorry. So if I'm here and I have the cable way out in front of me, it's forcing you can't do this and pull into you like you guys want to. Because this is how you would pull if you guys didn't have this. You go and pull like that. That's how you pull on regular machines. It's making you pull the way you should pull, which is driving through hip and sternum and rocking up through, right? So the same position we have here, we'll mimic it over here. Imagine me, if you will. I know it's gonna be hard for you guys to like wrap your head around this, maybe, some of you. So imagine I'm laying on that hyperextension machine now, and I'm here. And I'm holding this. My hips back, my chest is forward on here, and I'm rocking up through the pole. All I'm doing is sitting down here, holding onto here, chest is in the same spot. Hips back, instead of me having to like go and pull, I just rock up through my chest. It's the same thing as falling now over the hyperextension thing and rocking up. I just I maintain hip position here, shoulders in front of hips. So what you guys are doing when I'm showing the incorrect pull on that, you guys will creep up in here and you'll go, which is drastically different than this, rolling here. And this is what you're feeling on the hyperextension when you're doing it. You're being forced to do it right. You can't cheat or lean back and drag on that hyperextension. Now you also notice that most of you, when you do that on a machine or dumbbells, whatever, your weight is like a quarter of what your weight would be on any other pull. And you're like, wow, it's because I'm not at an advantage of pulling. It's like, yeah, that's because that's how you're supposed to pull, dude. You're supposed to pull with your back and the movement of your upper body and the lifting of your chest and the stiffness of your hips, rolling up through stuff. That's how a pull is supposed to be done. It's not supposed to get myself in whatever position I can that's strongest and yank this fucking thing to me. It's a motion of rising up through something and then falling back down. That's all it is, right? But like when people break it down into these like hacks, it's like, guys, you're going on the right path, but like rewind back and think, oh, I don't need to do that. I just need to keep my hip back on a fucking back pull machine. Anything that's chest supported, and learn how to use the chest support as my driving up. Because I'm not in midair, obviously, where I'm able to drive through here and rock up through. Here, you can't rock back far enough because your weight is tilted forward on the hyper. I can't rock back far enough. I would end up bending my knees and falling. But like if my legs are stiff and I rock up here, I can rock up as high as I want and flex as hard as I want. People are like, oh my God, I never felt that in my back before. But it's like you can get that same feeling of being here, like retracted like that, even if I start here like here. And I'm in the same position, but my hips stuck down on the bench and I'm letting out again, relaxing, and I'm rolling up through because I'm keeping my weight forward. Right? So just remember, like, I have nothing against people doing that, and people that are trying to like figure out their back movements and get better at doing things, understanding. Take that stuff, do that stuff. It's fine. But like, think in your head, like logically, how do I make this apply to everything? Because if that feels so good, how wouldn't doing it the same way on a machine feel even better? When we can add more weight, more stimulus. I have a chest support now that I can drive off of. I'm not in midair trying to pull a cable just in the middle of nowhere. So it's just the basic breakdown is like, I like the intention of that. It's not like a waste of time for people. It's not stupid. We're not making fun of it. It's just like, this is like training wheels for back training. You got to take them off eventually. Like, you got to be able to ride and understand how to apply that everywhere, right? I can't just be always on my training wheels. I can never fall off. You know what I mean? I got to get a rhythm. I got to move. I have to do that and apply it across like heavier weights, heavier loads, bigger machines, things like that. So if you're a young person and you're doing that kind of hyperextension shit, I see trainers here do it because they're trying to teach their client. I hope they're trying to teach their client how to understand movement. I think they're just doing it because they think it's like, wow, this really hurts my back and I've figured something out here. It's like, no, it's a teaching tool. It's not like a fucking end-all be-all tool. It's like something that's meant to apply to everything, right? So what I'm trying to get is all these little hacks or all these little like kind of, I guess you can only call them hacks. They are applicable and they're applicable in certain things, but they're not the rule. And they're meant to guide you. So they're not meant to be something you do all the time. They're meant to be something you evolve from, right? That's like the genesis of the idea, and now we apply it to other things, right? It's like, don't stay there and be like a fucking, it's like, I want to just be a caveman. It's cool. I don't want to ever evolve to anything else. Right, I'm just going to keep doing this stupid movement. That's why, like, you're making fun of people that are trying to figure stuff out. There's nothing wrong with that, because like if a random kid thought of that on his own, like he's doing hyperextension, he's like, man, if I like, when I get up to the top, I really feel this, and if I pulled something, I'd feel it even more. Like that's a great way to think about movement, and you should definitely keep thinking along those lines with everything you do. You don't need to like watch this guy, have this guy tell you what does this. Like, you can take stuff from all these people. I've seen a handful of people do that movement now. I don't do that movement, but I'm like, I see why you're doing it, and I get it, and it can be helpful to people, and it can educate them and make them understand how to move past that, right? It's just, you have to understand, like I said, you have to move past it. Because there's only so much weight I can do on that movement. There's only so much resistance I can make before I can't do anything. I can't even budge that weight, right? So there's my ceiling of that. The ceiling of that movement is very low, whereas I need to get out and move past that so I can go as far as I need to go. So ideally, like, we want our hip position to be back on everything we do with a pull, unless certain cases where it's not, but those are very, very finite, because we want to understand how the back, like how we can keep the stability of our lower back here, this arch where I'm holding my arch here, and this stiffness in this hip. Most of you are lacking that. If you can't put your hand behind your back and feel your back set and arch here, or you don't have the shoulder dexterity to do that, like I can do that with my bad shoulder. I can be here, like this. If you guys can't understand that positioning, pretty much all your back training's fucked. That's just being honest. Like, you're gonna have a big upper back, upper traps, you're gonna be wide as a house, blah, 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 blah. But and that's fine if you're just a guy who wants to be big, but I'm talking to like guys who compete, that's not good enough, man. And you'll see guys at the top nowadays who are like top bodybuilders. The difference between them winning and losing Mr. Olympias or winning and losing Arnold's or just big shows overall, the guy who beat them has beat them in the back shots. All their other shots are comparable. Fucking like bang, bang, bang. They're like going like shot for shot on each shot, and then they turn around to the back. When one guy hits the rear double, they're like, oh, he's missing half a back. And then like they hit the rear lat, and they're like, holy fuck, he's really missing like his mid back, and that's where the show was won. Like literally, maybe other spots too, but it's like that's the difference. It's like I see, we talked about in another video how this hip slide forward all the time on these back pulls. It's always this hip slide. It's never people driving through pulls. And that's all that hyperextension is teaching you is like, if I'm hanging over the hyperextension, there's only one way for me to go in my mind, which is up and back. But to get up and back, I guess what I have to do? That. I have to lift my chest. I could squeeze my glutes and stay flat and do this, but again, that would be wrong for back, and it'd be good for glutes. we're shutting off different mechanisms, right? So like I have to get up through here and pull back to feel my back, to feel my lower back work, right? So just keep thinking along those lines of innovating and trying new stuff. You should definitely do that. Don't let me or anyone else discourage you from trying new things, but just once you find something that works, it's probably gonna work for other shit. And then be like, okay, now I'm gonna go apply it to the stuff that actually does stuff for me. You know what I mean? Seeing it done right now, actually, but I'm truly fascinated by this, and I'm not making fun of it, because I'm just fascinated by it. But like, you girls, when you do like your pictures in the gym, and you have your poses, like, is there some fucking handbook somewhere that has poses for these girls? Or like some fucking ebook that's been put out, like where it's like I stand and I go, or like, and I like kick one leg up like this. It's like, what the fuck? Where did you girls all learn that? Or who started that? Because I watched a girl do a photo shoot here the other day, and she was literally like, she was literally like standing in the back, and then she like turned her shoulder, and then she like kicked her foot and was like, this is like, where does this come from? Like, bodybuilders know, like, I'm gonna flex my bicep. Ooh, you know what I mean? Like, but girls is like, how did you, like, where do you come up with these poses, like, looking over your shoulder and shit? It's like the fucking bikini guy, the bikini pose handbook, and they all know it. But just like innately in their brain, like it's a hive mind. Like, you tell a girl to pose, even if she's out at a club, they're like, girls come together and pose. They're all like, it's like, how do you fucking know these poses? Like, the girl, you'll never see a girl stand like this to pose. Or just like, hey, it's always like, it's like, get my angle. I'm just fascinated by that. So if there's an ebook I'm unaware of, let me know. If there isn't, I'm gonna put one out. It's gonna be Wicked's Guide to Random Posing for no apparent reason. I'll do it in booty shorts and a sports bra for you girls, so you can copy my moves.
The Wicked pose handbook.
There's also a thing I just saw on someone just actually wrote on one of my Instagram posts today. It's this age-old discussion that's gotten me in trouble before, or hurt people's feelings before, me talking about natural athletes versus enhanced athletes. I don't even know why it's a discussion anymore nowadays. 90% of you natural guys aren't natural. If you took for the definition of the word, like, you're taking something that's unnatural going into your body. It's like you're not eating fucking grass and like licking on dirt, you know what I mean? Like, you're eating synthetic shit too, right? You're taking these pro hormones or fucking fat burners. Like, anyway, this guy's like, I was talking about lifting lightweight in the video. He's like, of course you can lift lightweight when you're on steroids, because they do all the work for you. Like, you look at Chris Bumstead, he lifts like shit, or he lifts light, and he looks great. And it's like, dude, like, do you take, like, taking this moral high ground that you like don't take juice and you lift? It's like, what are you hoping to accomplish from that? Like, we talked about this on Bro Chat. Like, is it gonna say on your tombstone, like, natty for life? Like, I said that shit before. Like, it's like, I said that shit before. I got people really mad. So you're just gonna need a smaller coffin when you die. But it's like, that'll probably fucking piss people off again, even though I've said it before. But it's like, it's true. It's just like, you never see, like, people who are enhanced or who take drugs, they'll make comments like busting on natty guys, but it's all an encouragement to be like, hey man, stop wasting your time. Like, it's not what you think it is, and it's not as bad as you think it is, and there's safe ways to do stuff. So like, don't come over and go crazy. And no one's saying that you have to like jump on 1,000 milligrams right away. Like, if this is your goal and this is what you want to do, we'll start you slowly and make you understand what's going on, right? And you can keep an eye on yourself. But nowadays, more than ever, blood work's easy to get, all this stuff's easy, people know what's going on. So it's like, our busting the balls of natural people isn't making fun of them. It's literally like, in my mind, I'm literally like, what are you waiting for? Like, how do you enjoy coming here and not feeling a pump, not seeing progress, being fucking tired, having no fucking strength? Like, what's the point? Like, I just don't understand that. Like, I just wouldn't want to do that. So in my mind,
to the next level, right? Like, yeah,
it's like, and like average guys who just want to be bigger and stuff, there's nothing wrong with a person who's just an average person who wants to have a better physique, doing what they want to do to have that extra better physique, right? Like, it's their choice at the end of the day. So why are you bad mouthing them for it? Like, it's like, but the natural guys, they come at the enhanced guys like, oh, like, you guys cheated. They're literally like children, like when they're fucking kids being told, like, don't use steroids in sports, kids. It's like, meanwhile, everyone in sports is fucking using steroids. Everyone fucking in your gym's using steroids. Like, But it comes from this like, it really comes from this like deep, almost like insecure, like naive place for these natural guys. Like you guys have no idea what you're talking about, and your comprehension of what drugs do and their abilities to like create things or have your physique develop are so fucking off. Like you could literally take the doses that you think so-and-so takes. Let's say Bumstead, for example, or fucking Derek Lunsford. You could find out what these guys have taken. Take it, and you will look nothing like them. Ever. Unless you're them. Because that's for them, right? So, and they're probably on less than you think they're on. They're just genetically fucking gifted motherfuckers, right? Who just need a little extra, little boop, there we go, right? And their eating's on, everything's on. So it's like, I just don't understand the disdain natural people have for enhanced people. Like, are you mad that you can't get as big as them? But you know the road to do that is possible through the use of the thing you're bad-mouthing. But you're somehow holding this like moral high ground, like, oh, I would never. It's like, Jesus wouldn't approve. It's like, Jesus is probably jacked, guys. I hate to break that to everybody. Jesus is probably fucking jacked out of his mind. And God, if God is whatever God is, I'm sure God is enormous. Like, it's definitely not, they're definitely not dudes up there like twiddling their thumbs like they're fucking like, what? Jesus comes down like from the heavens, just jacked and veins popping out. He's like, fuck you guys. He's like, if it's possible to be made, it was made through natural creation, right? Like testosterone is a natural thing, synthetically made in a lab to create what it is that's already in the body, right? So I get it. Don't abuse shit, and don't be like these kids who just dump shit in their body and don't know anything about it, and they cause major health problems for themselves. But like, don't knock people that do stuff that they want to do on their own. Like, no one's making them do it. No one's making you not do it. It's like, it's a choice. And at the end of the day, it's like going after like, man, everyone who's a smoker's a fucking loser. Fucking smoking to kill you, man. It's like, well, they're still gonna smoke. You don't smoke, so why do you give a fuck? Why do you care if he smokes, right? It's just an argument that leads to nowhere. And I literally think it comes down to like natural people just trying to like, they're still living in a childhood state of mind. That's literally what it is. You're like still haven't developed mentally. Not to saying that if you did, you would do steroids, but you just don't think about things properly. Yeah. Like your conditioning and your programming from when you were a child is still in there. You still think the government wants to do right by you. You still think steroids are bad for you. You still think like strippers want to have sex with you. Like you still think all this shit, right? Like this is all, it's up here and you're like, yep. Hasn't twisted me wrong yet. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm tired. Like anyone who comments, I just fucking delete them. It's like, first of all, why are you watching my shit anyway if you're natural? Like I have nothing, I am showing you like tips and stuff for movement, and I get that, and it'll apply to anybody. The movement applies to anybody. It's not like, oh, that movement only works if you're on 1,000 milligrams of testosterone. It's like, no, it works for everybody because anyone can physically do it. But it's like, will it benefit the person more who's on the juice? That's debatable, but their propensity to build muscle is higher than yours, so they have that going for them right off the bat.